There's a $43 million man down that way. It's Ryan, I believe he's Droege. He's the CEO of Relay Payments. Ryan, did I get your name okay?
That will work.
Okay.
No, I want to it's Ryan Droege, but I would say that 1 out of 1,000 people get that right. So you are good.
Yeah, it's a tough call on the hard G when you're just like, when you're reading it sight unseen. Like, I lean into that one. I want to give a big shout out to Monique Crapper, who helped set this up. She said, I love your podcast. I come from a farming family in Australia and discovered your show when I started at Relay a few months ago. My dad and 2 truck farming brothers back in OZ have been tuning in and find it fascinating hearing about the U.S. perspective. So awesome to hear that people all the way on the other side of the world are hearing this and being influenced and ending up working at Relay Payments too.
That's right. Monique's great. She's awesome.
So tell us what Relay Payments is, because you guys just had a huge raise. Linda Baker covered it on freightwaves.com in the beginning of the month. So what's Relay? And yeah.
Sure. So we are an electronic payments provider for the logistics industry, and we help replace carrier and brokers' reliance on cash or check. So I was just listening in and heard Greg issue that Venmo challenge. One easy way to think of us is, Venmo for carriers and brokers. We help do electronic payments for them.
Great. So if you want to take Greg's challenge, go to Relay Payments, and you guys are going to
team
up on.
Yeah, we'll facilitate the $10 transaction back and forth. We'll help you move that money.
That's awesome. So tell us about the raise, man. What is the experience like going through a raise funding over this last 6 months? Right, you're doing everything, I guess, through Zoom and everything like that. How did it go? Congratulations, by the way, on securing the $43 million.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was very interesting. Yeah, a lot of our investors we never actually met in person. We would do the fundraising and the pitch and all the financials over Zoom. So lots of Zoom calls, lots of meetings. A few of them did fly in and make the trip, and we had the socially distanced meet you in person kind of boardroom meetings. But it was unique to say the least. It does speed up the process, right? You're not having to fly around to New York and San Francisco and Atlanta and try to raise all this money. You can do everything remotely pretty quickly. So we were fortunate with that case.
Yeah, I got to ask you a question in terms of payments, because I think there's always a perception that the reason that people aren't getting paid is because, the client is withholding money. But a lot of times in supply chain logistics, it's because the back end, accounting room is just kind of in disarray. They haven't digitized. They don't really have a process to it. So how receptive are your partners at being about adopting this? I mean, obviously truckers are going to love it because they get paid quicker.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The disarray in the back office is really a lot of the problems. And so I think what's been unique is, given the time and just given this transformation that's taken place during the industry, a lot of companies are focusing inwards and they're saying, what can we do to operationalize and increase our efficiencies and profit margins? And a lot of times the back office is a place that they can do that in. And so, we come in, we partner with them and really streamline that whole process, all of the business workflows, all of the money movements, and it really brings money into the truck drivers' pockets, right? And they can get back on the road quicker, which you mentioned. But for the whole organization, it helps streamline their processes, which gives them increased profit margin as well.
Excellent stuff. So when we were talking about the raise over the last 6 months, that's difficult. But something else that interests me as well is onboarding and bringing in new people and hiring new people and training them. And you grew from tenfold, right? From 4 to 40 employees over the last year. How is that? What were the challenges there?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So early on in the year, we were forced to go to a remote company. And around that time, we had 4 employees in and around Atlanta. And we're at 56 as of lately. So we've definitely 10x the company, and all of it has been over Zoom and remotes. So I think conversations like this, where we can call in and really be anywhere in the U.S., has been pretty cool. The way that I tell everybody is this is the first time in history where you actually have the ability to work with people anywhere in the country. Businesses were always constrained to hire talent in and around where they are, and so it really gives the opportunity for us to bring on the best team members, regardless of where they are, regardless of where they live. So we had to adapt quickly, and now the whole company's remote, and we've got people in 6 different states around the country.
Wow. So what are you going to do with this big cash infusion? Yeah, 43 million. Is it burning a hole in your pocket? It sounds like a lot of it is just going towards beefing out the team.
Yeah, a lot of it's hiring. End of year target 110 team members. So we're hiring in a lot of different positions across the company. But also just continuing to serve our customer base. So there's a lot of innovation that the whole industry needs when it comes to these payments. If you think of how many transactions today are still done via cash or fleet check, we look to streamline that whole process. So working with the back office, working with the drivers on the road and the carriers themselves to actually bring that to market. And so that's what the capital is going to continue to go towards.
Excellent. So are you gonna take a little bit of that and buy a big office building there in downtown Atlanta when you can bring people back, or are you gonna stay remote?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we will support a remote first culture. We'll probably buy a medium sized one. So some that, when people can fly in and have team events, we'll have an office space, a headquarters, if you will, in Atlanta. Atlanta's great. It's the hub of a lot of financial technology companies as well as logistics companies. So we're excited to make it our home, but also excited to welcome team members from around the whole continent.
Now, is this similar at all to RoadSync, or what's your why behind the company? Why did you decide to start this one? You've been very successful with it.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I was previously a co-founder at RoadSync, and what we did there was we were a merchant acquiring company for warehouses. So we helped them keep track of their cash, keep track of their checks, deposit them. So more of like a point of sale type company. And through that, I really said, hey, there's a whole bigger need here for the industry to just replace the reliance on cash and checks. And so moved to the other side of the coin, if you will, and started helping the carriers and the brokers and the shippers really replace their reliance on cash and checks. So two sides of the same coin, both trying to fix payments in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, when in the past, I remember trying to convince drivers to accept online payments or direct deposit of their payments and stuff. So, I'm wondering if I can't ask you a stupid question here. What's a one thing that you should always pay cash for?
I'm not going to answer that on live radio. But there are some things that when you follow the money, they should probably remain in cash. You don't really want any records of some of those purchases, so we'll leave it at that.
If you feel the need to bury it somewhere in your backyard in Atlanta, like Arkansas Mo's, you should probably pay cash for it, right?
We're not going after that market. That's not one we're going to touch. So.
Gotcha.
So how big do you see yourselves? You go to investors, you get to 43 million. Your plan right now, get up to that 100 some odd employees. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? What is the growth trajectory looking like?
Sure. So, some back of the envelope calculations, there's still $30 billion that moves across cash and checks in the industry. And so we're handling about 300 million of that today. So there's a lot of forward momentum that we can continue to help companies modernize their back office and their payment process. So, we're just getting started.
Have you gotten some feedback so far from people who have started to use Relay?
Yeah, people love it. Once they make the transition, they start saying, hey, this is what we were looking for the last 10 years. They're pretty excited once they're off of cash and checks, and we really help drive more profits back into their pockets. And so at the end of the day, our customers rave about us. We get a lot of referrals. So we'll continue trying to serve the industry.
Wow. Well, excellent stuff. We really appreciate it. People want to learn more. These drivers out there, they want to get paid quicker. Carriers want to fix their books up and get cash flowing more, more efficiently. Where should they go to learn more?
Yeah, relaypayments.com. And you can click Get Started Now. We have people who get up and running within an hour.
Fantastic, man. We really appreciate it. And congratulations on your success with a new company. Love seeing a Southeast company bring it home, especially when you're hearing all this talk about, San Francisco, right? All the tech companies just kind of spreading out. We're hearing about Austin. We're hearing about Tampa. You want to sell them on Georgia for a second?
Yeah, we're excited to prove them wrong. You can build a great, successful company here in the Southeast. And I think the thing that we proved with this last fundraise is the money doesn't really care where you're located, right? Our investors came out of San Francisco and New York and Atlanta. So they'll rally around a good company regardless of where you are. So we're pleased to have them join the team.
Fantastic. Good for all of us too who want to work for startups, because now our options are so much more open, especially if you don't want to take the risk of going to work for a startup in a market like San Francisco where it's just so expensive. Like, yeah, you may get a great salary. Is there stability there? Who knows? That's
right. So now that, funding is all remote and hiring is all remote, you can really work anywhere. So pick a good problem and go after it. But we got lots coming, so we're excited.
Well, congratulations and best of luck to you and your team.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me on.